How's it going? It's Bradley with Allaqcess Sports bringing you, well, I guess kind of our first installment of the Pigskin Pick'em this year. That's right, the NFL picks are back and we're going against the spread. So we're going to be picking, I guess, your betting lines for you to take to Vegas or your online dealer. There's going to be some key matchups that we've probably talked about in our Fantasy 5 with our running backs or wide receivers, but we're going to just kind of put our intelligence to the test here. I mean, honestly, how hard can it be to predict who's going to win a game? My bank account says it's very, very difficult. So we're going to go through all of them, and if we finish at least more than half right, you have to do me a favor, come back next week, drop a thumbs up and a comment on the video. I can't be right all of the time, and I'm probably wrong the majority of the time. So if anything, watch this video, fade all my picks, and congratulations, you can retire early. Kicking things off, the reigning champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, 6.5-point favorites against the Detroit Lions. Listen, they're the best in the world for a reason. Yes, they are the best in the world at football, the real football. They're 6.5-point favorites against the Detroit Lions, who I think are an improving team. Dan Campbell has that team going in the right direction, but early on, there's too much firepower coming from Kansas City. Chris Jones, there or not, they are going to be good on both sides of the ball. Well, at least good enough defensively. Detroit, they're going to be there by year's end. I think they have a real chance of winning the NFC North. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs to win by at least a touchdown. Man, this one's going to be tough. I'm sorry if you don't like it. Just skip over it. It is a little bit of a homer pick. You can see I'm a Carolina Panthers fan back here. I think they have what it takes to keep this game extremely close. The majority of America is going with Atlanta Falcons at -2.5. I like Bijan Robinson this week if you play fantasy sports. I think Atlanta has improved drastically on their defense, but so has the Carolina Panthers. They have improved with a lot of good coaching in a lot of different areas. Their offense didn't look great in the preseason. This game is going to be extremely close. I'm taking the Carolina Panthers +2.5 for now. Take that as you will as a Panthers fan. Cincinnati Bengals, 2.5-point favorites over the Cleveland Browns. The Bengals, if Joe Burrow is starting, there's not many times I'm going to bet against him. I like what Deshaun Watson is able to do with Amari Cooper and Njoku, the tight end there for Cleveland. Looks like he has some real rapport that has been built with Deshaun Watson and really go against Nick Chubb. They have a lot of positive things. I would take the over in this game, but for now, I think 2.5 points with a healthy Joe Burrow. It looks like he's going to be a full go. Even with that calf injury, I think the Cincinnati Bengals at -2.5 is still the play. If you've watched any of my videos thus far, you know that I'm a Calvin Ridley stan. I think this offense is going to be one of the top 3 offenses in the league. Calvin Ridley is going to go nutso over the Indianapolis Colts. If you don't think the Jaguars are the best team in the AFC South, I don't know what tape you've been watching. All 3 other teams are either having a new quarterback or having quarterback issues, struggles. They're coming off some sort of quarterback catastrophe last season. The Jaguars somehow are the only ones that have it all pieced together. Now, the Tennessee Titans will be very good because all that quarterback has to do is turn around and hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. The Jaguars, 4.5 seems like an easy pick. Probably too easy. It's probably going to be the Colts, but for now, the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's how frustrated Baker Mayfield makes me. I had such high hopes for Baker Mayfield and this Carolina Panthers team last year. I was tweeting world championship, and that was the furthest thing from happening. Tampa Bay Buccaneers +6.5. They're still going to be a decently good team. That defense is going to be decent against the run, but against the pass, they struggled at times against big play wide receivers. Minnesota Vikings has one of the best, if not the best, big play wide receiver in Justin Jefferson. Kirk Cousins then is allowed to add pieces like Jordan Addison. KJ Osborne is still there. TJ Hawkinson just signed a massive contract in terms of tight ends. I think Minnesota is going to put up a ton of points. I don't know if Baker's going to be able to put up the points with them. If you're betting the over, I'm slamming the over in this one, but I'm also going to be taking the Minnesota Vikings, and it feels like we're taking a lot of the favorites so far. Hopefully that trend is probably going to change here with the next few picks. How do we feel about Derek Carr? Do we really feel like he's going to come in and maybe not turn this franchise around because it wasn't like depleted or anything, but are they really going to pivot from being good to great? I think that Vegas has their over-under at 10 wins right now. Do we think that the New Orleans Saints are going to get more wins because of Derek Carr being there with Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, 2 years removed from actually playing any games, Jawan Johnson at the tight end position, if you don't think it's going to be Jimmy Graham, Alvin Kamara out for a while, Jamal Williams is there. I don't love this team. I think the defense is getting a little bit older. Tennessee, they have their issues that I've already talked about, but it's the same old Tennessee you're going to get plus DeAndre Hopkins. I like Tennessee at plus 3.5. I think that defense is good enough to slow him down. I think Derrick Henry is good enough to run against the New Orleans Saints, even though they do limit 100-yard rushers. It's early in the season. That defense hasn't been tackling very much. Derrick Henry's going to hit you in your chest. Give me the Tennessee Titans. Oh, baby, this one's a spicy one. The San Francisco 49ers against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, if you've been watching the preseason, everyone's been talking about Kenny Pickett's delivered to Deontay Johnson. George Pickens is the new wide receiver 1. Pat Freiermuth looks wonderful. Darnell Washington is the best blocking tight end that's ever come out of the NFL draft. Jalen Warren should be the starter. Najee Harris is going to be running back 1 this season. San Francisco 49ers are still no slouch. They still have an excellent defense that will get up and get after you. Still have Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell backing him up. Deebo Samuel, that people want to argue is one of the most versatile pieces in all of the NFL. Brandon Ayuk on the other side, who might actually be a better pure wide receiver than Deebo Samuel. Listen, if Brock Purdy is going to be the quarterback that I guess he showed he could be over the last few weeks and the media wanted to hype up, he's going to need to win this game by 3.5. But those Pittsburgh Steelers, I think there's something about them. San Francisco has to travel over to the East Coast for the first game of the season. America loves themselves some Brock Purdy. I'm kind of falling in love with Kenny Pickett. I know I jokingly said that he wasn't going to be that dude, but listen, I want to take some dogs. And Mike Tomlin has a team that's full of dogs. I don't think much needs to be said here. Sam Howell, Jahan Dotson, don't care if you have Terry McLaurin in this game. Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson, Logan Thomas, they should all be able to do enough to get past Clayton Tune, Greg Dortch, Marquise Brown, and Michael Wilson. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just lock that one in. I love what the Houston Texans are doing. I love that they were so aggressive to trade up in the draft so they could get Stroud and Will Anderson. As a guy who loves defenses, I wanted the Panthers to keep Steve Wilks. Long story, I wanted them to get DeMeco Ryans. I think he's going to be a phenomenal head coach. I think that defense is going to be incredible this year. But the Baltimore Ravens are still going to have too much offense. You say that they have a new offensive coordinator who wants to throw the ball, be fast-paced. First game of the season, I don't think the Texans are going to be ready for that. They don't have any film to see what are the Ravens going to come out with? And you have J.K. Dobbins. And quietly, I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be one of the best fantasy plays and best running backs for week 1, especially for his price point on a lot of these daily fantasy sports sites. I think J.K. Dobbins ended last year really strong. He now has another full offseason to get healthy. If they are going to be passing the ball, it's going to spread out that defense a little bit more, open up some lanes for J.K. to run. I expect them to get ahead early. I think that 9.5 is steep, but I just don't love this offense with Nico Collins, Robert Woods, John Mechie, Noah Brown, and Tank Dell. Dalton Schultz ain't putting up that many points, that's for dang sure. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to win by 10. Battle of the NFC North. Chicago Bears did improve in the offseason, but they were the worst team in the league if you just want to look at pure records. Justin Fields was a fantasy killer because his team was so bad. If it weren't for the rushing yards, it wouldn't have been very good. They add DJ Moore. I think that gives him a great passing weapon. Khalil Herbert is a great running back. Yeah, I said it, a great running back. I know Bears fans have a love-hate relationship with him and what they wanted out of David Montgomery, but I think Khalil Herbert is going to be very good. Donta Foreman is back there, RB2, RB3, Roshan Johnson, a great third down pass-catching back to spell Khalil Herbert. And then you have the Green Bay Packers, who are done with Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love comes in. He looks really good so far with Luke Musgrave. Christian Watson actually looks good. I'm truly torn between this one because I want to think that the Bears are going to be good. They've gotten him the weapons. They have some new coaches. I want to think the Bears are going to be good. Something is pulling me towards the Green Bay Packers. If Jaquan Brisker is going to be out for the Chicago Bears, I think that plays a huge gap and a huge hole in their secondary, and I think Jordan Love will have a little bit of an easier time. He's had 4 years to learn under Aaron Rodgers. He needs to put it together. I'm going to fade the majority, and I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers. Denver Broncos finally have a competent coaching staff. They just don't have any wide receivers for Russell to throw to. Tim Patrick goes down, Jalen Virgil goes down, Jerry Jeudy goes down, and now you're stuck. I shouldn't say stuck, but now you have Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims. I guess you also have Troutman, Dulcich, and Kendall Hinton. I don't know if Russell Wilson has looked good enough, but I don't know if the Raiders have really flashed anything to me. Maybe it's because we haven't seen much of Jimmy Garoppolo and Devontae Adams together. Josh Jacobs is still there. They still have some offensive firepower. That defense is probably going to struggle at times. But as of right now, I think later on in the year, Denver Broncos are going to be a better team in the AFC West. But for now, I will take the Las Vegas Raiders at plus 3.5. I don't get this one. The Eagles as only 4.5-point favorites over the New England Patriots. I get it. It's hard to beat a team by a touchdown. But if there's one game on this slate that I would be like, yeah, they can do it, it would be the Eagles against the Patriots. When you go line by line, position by position, the Eagles are far superior than the Patriots at almost every single position, except for running back if you want to take Ramondre Stevenson over DeAndre Swift and Kenneth Gainwell. That Philadelphia Eagles defense is going to be one of the best, if not the very best, defense in the league. For the New England Patriots to have cut Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham, they must have a ton of confidence in Mac Jones. You can have all the confidence in him in the world. Unfortunately, he has to throw to guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, Devontae Parker, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki. I don't see how that offense can actually keep up with what Philadelphia's offense is able to do, and they have to do that against Philadelphia's defense. I am smashing the Eagles as one of the locks of the day. I'll give you my top 3 plays by the end of this, and we'll recap it at the end. So if you only want to lock in 3 plays, I'll tell you which 3 to lock in. Miami Dolphins versus the Los Angeles Chargers. I think this is a really tough matchup. It's going to be exciting. Kellen Moore with that Chargers offense is going to be absolutely exciting. There's a lot of people who thought he was the problem in Dallas. I don't think it was, but he's going to have to prove himself here with Justin Herbert and a massive amount of weapons. Miami, on the other side, also has a massive amount of weapons. Yeah, they have a couple injuries in the backfield, but it's hard to argue against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. This is going to be an extremely close game. If it was in Miami, I'd probably lean Miami, but because it is a home game for the LA Chargers, I'm probably going to, at this point, lean LA. Give me the Chargers just to edge it out by a field goal. Cooper Kupp is back and healthy. Matt Stafford is back and healthy. Cam Akers is back and healthy. Seattle Seahawks, somehow, someway, Jackson Smith and Jigba is practicing with a cast on his arm. Talk about a dog. We all agree Cooper Kupp adds a level to this offense that the Rams absolutely need. They can't do it without him. We've seen them try it with Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Allen Robinson last year. It just wasn't enough. Tyler Higbee is going to have to step up in a big way this season, especially in the red zone. Seattle Seahawks, I think, just have a little bit too much firepower. It's hard to defend a guy as big as DK Metcalf and a guy that's as fast as Tyler Lockett and a guy that's as good as Jackson Smith and Jigba with his hands when healthy. It's going to come down to the wire. Let me take the Seattle Seahawks for now. Geno Smith, dude, kudos to you for revamping your career. Go out, ball out, young man. Dallas Cowboys at 2.5-point favorites over the New York Giants. The Giants who have added a ton of weapons this year. Darren Waller looks like one of the best, if not the best, tight end of the preseason. We didn't get to see a whole lot of Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. Darren Waller saw, a 40% target share for routes that he ran this year from Daniel Jones? You add Jalen Hyatt, who might be wide receiver 3 for now. Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton looks okay. Saquon Barkley is going to be running angry. He has a 1-year contract. He's probably not happy with it, but he wants to demand more money. Go out and prove it. Dallas Cowboys are returning what I thought was one of the best defenses in the league. The NFC East is actually quietly stacked with a really good defense. You bring in Brandon Cooks to replace Michael Gallup, who is still there, but he didn't perform last year very well. CeeDee Lamb is still very good. You have to replace Dalton Schultz. Can Jake Ferguson do that right out of the gate? But I saw Dak Prescott throw a lot of interceptions in the offseason and training camp and in the preseason. Give me Daniel Jones, Vanilla Vic, for them to cover the 2.5 points. I think the New York Giants are going to win this game outright. I love Saquon this year. Yes, the Cowboys defense is very good up front, but I love the threat of what Saquon can do out of the backfield, catching passes and running in the goal line area. New York Giants to win by a few points, so I definitely think they're going to cover the 2.5. This one kind of makes my head hurt. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game. But what has he really done that's been special over the last 2 or 3 years? I mean that honestly. I don't doubt that he's able to make a throw, but the Bills have been the team to beat in the AFC East for the past few seasons. I really think the Jets are the darling team of America this year, and I mean that very nicely. I think everyone in America has fallen in love with them because ESPN and the media is all over Aaron Rodgers being there. They were on Hard Knocks from HBO, so America has been able to see them in the locker room. They are spinning narratives and stories to make it illustrate and bring in good captive audience and keep you entertained that the Jets are going to be phenomenal. But the Bills have been phenomenal. They are still one of the best teams in the league. Yeah, I think they handle business. They're coming out angry. Their window for a Super Bowl is closing. The road back to the AFC Championship starts right here. I promised you 3 locks for week 1. These are going to be Bradley's best bets. Or let's call it the All-Access All-In. We are all in on these 3 plays, and we're going to kick it off with the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Indianapolis Colts by at least 4.5 points. Philadelphia Eagles to beat the New England Patriots by 4.5. And it's all going to come down to Monday night. Give me the Buffalo Bills defense to make Rodgers uncomfortable. Buffalo Bills win this one by a touchdown. I appreciate you watching this video. If you have anything that you disagree with, put it down in the comments below. You can find me on Twitter at Allaqcess Sports. That's down in the description. You can find me, Brad M. Lee, on Twitter. I love talking sports. Shoot me a DM, shoot me a tweet. I would love to talk to you. We'll keep a rolling tally week after week for how our bets do, and we'll kind of see how we finish up. Again, if you're looking to make money, fade me. If you're looking for some fun, follow me. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully the next time that I see you is down in the comments and in the green.